about the puppy bowl?
Where are they holding in that stupidity?
What, Super Bowl? It's it.
Yeah,
It's
go
halftime.
fart. Fart and poop.
It's halftime already?
Yeah.
Shines. The Royal doesn't have an excuse.
It's Yaakov.
Yeah.
Shol ben Tzvi tonight.
Yes, they're upstairs.
Shol
What?
ben
Oh, in the
Tzvi.
square things.
Shol ben Tzvi.
The square
Shol
things
ben
is folded.
Yeah, my father.
What? Do you got? It's yotzi. It's already. 1 second. I thought it was Chodesh.
That's my mother.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I was close.
Yeah. My
50% ain't bad.
My mother's Shabbos, my father's tonight.
Oh, okay. Shabbos Alban Aliyah. The
Shabbos
learning should be
Alban
Leila
Aliyah.
Nishmasa.
Amen.
Okay, so are we ready to start, or we're waiting for more chaver to come on?
No, let's just start.
You should start with Yaakov. They would be on if they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Okay, let's go. So another difficult daf. Yeah.
This is one of those situations
Go
where
ahead.
you're supposed to say imanika nakoka.
Very good. Very good. Okay. I don't remember what we did last Super Bowl. Okay, whatever it is. Second line down from the top, right? Ayin Chesam and Aleph. Yeah. So again, we're trying to figure out if the korbanos are tamei, when the korbanos are tamei, so are they mutter? Can they be mutter? Is the tzitz merazteh? Is the tzitz not merazteh? So we ended up saying that's Rabbi Yeshua, and he was mechalek between. There's a difference between if it's a korban yochid and a korban bitzibur if the korban is tamei. Okay, so now we bring in a different sheet from Rabbi Yosi. Name him asnisin delik Rabbi Yosi. Let's say the Mishna is not like Rabbi Yosi. The Tanya Rabbi eliezer omer hatzitz merazteh al achilas. Right, so we had this a while ago that Rabbi eliezer says that the tzitz is merazteh. The tzitz is merazteh on achilas, which we're going to see the Gemara exactly what that means. What do you mean it's merazteh on achilas? We said you're not allowed to eat the korban. For korban pesach, if everybody's tamei, so you can the korban is kosher, but you can't eat it. So what does it mean the tzitz is merazteh al achilas? Fine, that's Rabbi Eliezer shita. Rabbi Yosi ain't a tzitz merazteh al achilas. The tzitz is not merazteh on achilas. It doesn't even help. So Kasagadai, then we the Rabbi Yosi ain't a tzitz merazteh al achilas. This that we say that Rabbi Yosi says that the tzitz is not merazteh al achilas. Rabbi Yeshua svirle. So he must be holds like Rabbi Yeshua the Amar bein tarti. Right? Rabbi Yeshua's shita is that you need two things. You need to have the what do you call it? I'm trying to remember what is it. You need the dam and the basa, right? That's what you need the dam and the basa. So name a hashda masnis and the like Rabbi Yosi. So let's say the Mishna is not like Rabbi Yosi. So we say no, the loy Rabbi Yosi Rabbi Eliezer. So Rabbi Yosi holds like Rabbi Eliezer. The Amar dam afal pishain basa, right? Rabbi Eliezer's shita from yesterday was that if you could, as long as you could bring the dam, even though the basa is tamei, it's still okay. So if that's the case, then what's the halacha that ain't tzitz merazteh al achilas? What does that mean? The tzitz is not merazteh on achilas. What's the nafkamina? So the Gemara says, well, the tamei. So according to you, Rabbi Eliezer, damar tzitz merazteh. According to Rabbi Eliezer, that the tzitz is merazteh. Kiven damar dam afal pishain basa. So since you say that the dam, if the dam is tar, even though the basa is not, the tzitz is still merazteh on achilas. What does it mean? Again, bottom line is, what is tzitz is merazteh on achilas? What does that mean? Ella, the mekaveh bepigel will afukim medei meila kamifli. They're having a machlokes to be kaveya and pigel, and to take it out of meila. Meaning, pigel. Remember what pigel was? Pigel is when a kohen has in mind that he's going to eat the korban chutz l'zmana, chutz l'makoyma, or whatever it is. So that's what pigel is, right? So, but once the korban is already brought, so then there's no longer any pigel, or once the korban is already brought, there's no longer meila, right? Meila is only from when it belongs to hektish. Once the korban we already makar the korban, so then it no longer belongs to hektish. So that by the tzitz, if the tzitz is merazteh on achilas, that means that food now is going to get downgraded from kodshim. So Rabbi Eliezer savar merazteh tzitz ilave umashvile ketar. So the tzitz is merazteh, and it makes it like the meat is tar. Now it doesn't mean tahar that you could eat it, right? Rashi says even though it's also to eat it, right? It's still it's as if it was tar. Ramela there's pigul. The kava lebe pigul, and it's kaveh with pigul. Mafik le midei mila, and it takes it out of mila. That's Rabbi Eliezer sheet. Rabbi Yosi savar lo merazteh tzitz ilave. The tzitz is not merazteh, v'lo mashvile ketar, and the meat is not like tar. V'lo kava lebe pigul, and it's not kaveh pigul. V'lo mafik le midei mila, and it doesn't take it out of mila. Okay, so we end up saying that our Mishna is Rabbi Yosi is going like Rabbi Eliezer. Fine. So Maskal Ramari, I'm sorry, they keep opening the door over there. Maskal Ramari ni nami Rabbi Yosi savak Rabbi Eliezer, right? Granted, the Rabbi Yosi holds like. Can you hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. The background music is not.
Yeah, we hear
Okay,
you.
sorry, Okay, so Maskal Ramari. So Ramari asked the kasha, "Mihi nami the Rabbi Yosi savak Rabbi Eliezer." So granted, the Rabbi Yosi holds like Rabbi Eliezer. Bishlam is zvachim. So by zvachim, by a korban, right? By behemoths, ikadam, there's dam there that you put it onto the mezbeach. Aimer nami, by the korban aimer, ika kaimitz, you take a kamitza, a handful. Lechem aponim nami, ika bezichin, right? So we said by lechem aponim, there's always the two spoonfuls of the levina, of the frankincense, right? That's what we called it, that go together with it. Ela shtei halechem, my ika lemema. What are you going to say about shtei halechem? And if you're going to say that the shtei halechem, just whatever korbanos come together with the shtei halechem, hainu shal bitzibur, then that's part of shal bitzibur, which is another category in the Mishna, right? The Mishna said 5 cases. So if you're saying it's part of shal bitzibur, imkain havalu arba banan chamishatan, and then there's only 4 different situations of korbanos being tamei, and we learned in the Mishna 5. Ella, because Rabbi Yosi tumah hutrah bitzibur. Oh, so Rabbi Yosi holds no tumah's hutrah. It's not chuya. He holds it tumah's hutrah bitzibur, and therefore you don't need the tzitz. You know, right? We said yesterday you only need the tzitz if you hold that the tumah is chuya, so it's pushed off. So you need it's really meikra din. It's a problem, even though everybody's tamei, and the tzitz takes care of the problem. But if you hold that it's hutrah, then you don't need the tzitz. It's mutter. That's when the korban is like regular normal if everybody's tamei. So that's the sheet of Rabbi Yosi. Tanya, but we learned in the braysos, echad zeh mazan of kol shiva. Oh, so this is we need a little background for this. So the kayin gadol before Yom Kippur, so they separated him for 7 days, but they sprinkled the kayin gadol before Yom Kippur, separated him for 7 days, and the kayin that was going to do the mechatos, they also separated him for 7 days, and every day they sprinkled the mechatos on him for all 7 days. That's what they did, because they were mesupik which day, really supposed to be only the 3rd and the 7th day, but they were mesupik which day is the 3rd and the 7th day, so they did it every day, right? For Tanya, so we learned kol shiva. We on both of them, meaning the one that's going to be doing the mechatos and the kohen gadol before Yom Kippur, right? And they would mazan mikol chatois shahayusham, from all the chatas, the mechatos that was there. It was left even from Moshe Rabbeinu. Divi Rameh. That's what Rameh holds. No, you don't have to do it every day. You only have to do it on the 3rd and the 7th. Rabbi Yosi, tumah hutrah bitzibur, and if you hold Rabbi Yosi holds it tumah hutrah bitzibur, normally hazah klal. You don't even need hazah at all, right? If they're gonna be tamei and the tzibur's tamei or the kohen gadol is tamei, so what do you need hazah for? It's tahar, right? So now we're back to square one. Must be the pshat is that the Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yosi. Now, okay, so that's the end of that sugya. Now, remember we went yesterday on Amud Beis. The Gemara said a very interesting lashon, and so now let the Gemara discuss it. It's Amar le Rav Papa Abaye. Rabbi Yosi shtora mazki lebeitrei. Rabbi Yosi is being mezaka in a shtar to 2 people, meaning it's as if he's in a there's a bezdin by him, and he decides to say that both are right. Right, so that's what it sounds like Rabbi Yosi is saying to Tanya from this braysos. Rabbi Yosi, it seems to me that Rabbi Eliezer is correct by zvachim, by korbanos, by behemoths. Rabbi Yeshua bezvachim, and the words of Rabbi Yeshua by zvachim. Rabbi Eliezer by menachos, Rabbi Yeshua by menachos, and the words of Rabbi Yeshua by menachos. Right now, how could that be? He's saying he agrees with both Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua.
Why
You didn't wait for us?
The halftime started a long time
Right
ago,
now.
buddy.
Right now.
He's in the middle of thing.
What is wrong
That's
with
not
you?
what.
What's wrong with
That's not
you?
what everybody said.
What is
Anyways,
wrong with
different Rabbi
you?
Eliezer.
What are you, a 2-year-old baby?
You have some time? You want to listen to what's wrong with me?
Should I throw him off?
No, I'm not
Throw
interested.
him
What's
off.
wrong
Let's
with
go.
you?
No. Let's go.
Tell
No, let's go.
Tell your wife what's wrong with you. I'm not interested. You come into a
Okay,
share
Everybody's
like a
coming on now.
behemoth?
Everybody's coming on.
You come into a share like a behemoth?
Okay. Amalei.
Ooh, what
Come
did
on
I
in.
miss?
Back-
What
go
did I
back.
miss?
Third wide line. Yeah. Amalei Reb Papa Abaya. Reb Yosi Shtorer Mezaki Lebeitrei. Right. Abaya is being Mezaka to Beitrei. The Tanya. Amar Reb Yosi. Royani is different. Reb Eliezer
I'm sorry.
bezvachim and different Reb
I'm sorry.
Yeshua
Where are you
bezvachim.
starting from? Where are you starting from?
It appears to me we're not starting, but now we're 5 wide lines down on Amud Aleph. Yeah. You got it? Okay, I'll go back up. The third wide line. Amalei Reb Papa Abaya. Reb Yosi now on the 4th wide line. Amalei Reb Papa Abaya. Reb Yosi Shtorer Mezaki Lebeitrei. Is Reb Yosi being Mezaka and Shtar the 2 people? The Tanya. Now we learned the Rabbi Amar Reb Yosi Roya, and he is Reb Eliezer bezvachim and Reb Yeshua bezvachim. Reb Eliezer seems correct by zvachim and Reb Yeshua by zvachim. But Reb Eliezer b'menachos is Reb Yeshua b'menachos. So what does that mean? He's saying that he holds like both of them. Sai by zvachim, sai by menachos. Reb Eliezer bezvachim. So Reb Eliezer seems to be correct by zvachim shayayim and dam afapi she'ein basa. It's dam even though there's no basa. Reb Yeshua Reb Yeshua bezvachim shayayim im ein dam ein basa. If there's no dam, then there's no basa. Remain basa and dam. If there's no basa, then there's no dam. Rabbi Eliezer menachos, and Rabbi Eliezer seems correct by menachos shayayim kaimitz. If you take out a handful, I will be shem shirayim, even though there's nothing left. But Rabbi Yeshua menachos shayayim, remain shem shirayim ein kaimitz, and ein kaimitz ein shirayim. So, b'kitzer amaisa, this whole thing is one big stira. Who's he going? Is he going like Rabbi Eliezer and zvachim? He's going like Rabbi Yeshua and zvachim. He's going like Rabbi Eliezer menachos or Rabbi Yeshua menachos. So Amalei Mistavra Amar. What he means is Mistavra. Ki kai bezvachim. Amar Mistavra ki hechi de pligi bezvachim pligi nami benachos. When he was holding in zvachim, when he was learning zvachim, so he said Mistama the same way there has a machlokes by zvachim, there's a machlokes on menachos. Kai benachos Amar Mistavra ki hechi de pligi benachos pligi nami bezvachim. The same way there's a machlokes it's the same way that it's a svara in menachos or memela. It's also the same machlokes is going to be in zvachim.
Are these 2 different braysos?
Are they 2 different braysos?
On the base before, you quoted the same brayso, but
Amud Beis
different
before
way.
is a much shorter. It's a shorter. I thought it's the same brayso, just Amud Beis doesn't bring the whole brayso.
It brings the whole thing, but
No?
it says it slightly differently. On Amud Beis, it says menachos, and menachos is
Let me
zvachim.
see.
Here it says it 4 different times.
I'm saying it adds on more in this brayso than on Amud Beis. That's what you're saying.
Doesn't really add on more. It just says it in a slightly different way. Because Royani is divrei Rabbi Eliezer b'menachos is zvachim, divrei Yeshua b'zvachim b'menachos. Here it says each one itself. That's all.
I don't know. I thought it's the same brayso. Yeah. So okay. So I'm really hatina ki kai bezvachim. I'm mistaver ki the pligi bezvachim pligi nami b'menachos. So if he's holding in zvachim, and he says the same way there's a machlokes by zvachim, there's also machlokes of menachos. The ikar cry ki ksivi bezvachim ksivi. The ikar psukim that we're going to learn all this out from is from, or that we did learn all this out from, is from zvachim. Right? Elaki kai b'menachos. V'amar mistaver ki the pligi b'menachos pligi nami bezvachim. V'ikar cry bezvachim u'deksivi. He's saying that when he's holding in menachos, he's saying mustama the same thing that's going on in zvachim. The psukim said by zvachim, not by menachos. Elaloi kasha. Rayani is divrei Rabbi Eliezer b'nitma, but divrei Yeshua b'ibud b'sarav. So now we're splitting up. Right, there were 3 different types of ways that a korban could become puzzle. Either it gets lost, it got burnt, or it became tamei. So he's saying it's no kasha. Rabbi Eliezer, he holds like Rabbi Eliezer by tamei, and like Rabbi Yeshua, bidieved b'saraf, by lost and burned. B'nitma, my time, by nitma, what's the reason? B'shem merazteh tzitz. You're saying the reason is because the tzitz is meratzah. Hoshama leila Rabbi Yosi, damer eina tzitz meratzah al achilas. But we said that Rabbi Yosi holds that the tzitz is not meratzah on achilas. So how could you say that the tzitz is meratzah when it becomes tamei? So then we change the pshat. Elaloi kasha royani is divi Rabbi eliezer bitzibur. Royani is divi Rabbi Yeshua biyachid. I hold like Rabbi eliezer when it comes to a korban tzibur, and he holds like Rabbi Yeshua when it comes to a korban yachid. Then they're going to ask, bitzibur my time, b'shum the tumah hutrah bitzibur. So why is it okay by a tzibur? Because we say that tumah is hutrah bitzibur. Chada, so one kasha is the shamas of Rabbi Yosi, damer tumah t'chuya hi bitzibur. First thing is we said that Rabbi Yosi holds tumah t'chuya, right? Because we slugged up that it can't be that Rabbi Yosi holds, right? Halfway up the Amud, we slugged up. He said he doesn't hold tumah hutrah, he holds tumah t'chuya. That's one. But if it's talking about a korban tzibur, Rabbi eliezer machshav v'lei Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi eliezer is machshav not Rabbi Yeshua. We said bitzibur right at the top of Amud Aleph. We said by a tzibur, even Rabbi Yeshua's minded that it's going to be okay. So now the third attempt to answer up this braysos. Oh, so I hold like Rabbi eliezer and the bidieved, we're going to go like Rabbi eliezer, but the Rabbi Yeshua lechatchila, right? So therefore, it's usher, meaning lechatchila, the avoida, you shouldn't do it. But if he did do it, then it's going to be mutter like Rabbi eliezer. Bidieved afilu Rabbi Yeshua nami ma'adehu. But bidieved, saying even Rabbi Yeshua's ma'adah, the katani ma'adah Rabbi Yeshua shim zara kodshim. You don't need to come on to Rabbi eliezer bidieved. Rabbi Yeshua himself is matter Rabbi bidieved. Tumah. So then the Gemara answers. No, one is talking about tumah, one's talking about ibud b'saraf. Kikatani ma'adah Rabbi Yeshua shim zara kodshim, but nitma. When did we say Rabbi Yeshua's ma'adah that if you did throw it, it's hutrah? That's by nitma. But if it gets lost or burned, then not. Kikam Rabbi Yosi royani is divi Rabbi eliezer bidieved bidieved b'saraf. And when did Rabbi eliezer say that he it seems like Rabbi eliezer is right bidieved? That's by ibud b'saraf. So therefore there is therefore bidieved you need to come on to Rabbi eliezer by ibud b'saraf, not by tzitz. Okay, not by tzitz, by nitma. Okay, that was hard. That was hard. That was not for halftime, or maybe it was for halftime. Ich weiß nicht, right? But yeah. Okay, so now the rest of Amud is a little easier, but also not. This is tumah and tara. Here's a zok Mishna. Yeah. Nitma basar b'chalav kayim. That's nechelav kayim. If it's, can you hear me? Or is the music too loud? Should I try and walk someplace else so you can hear me?
You're good. You're good.
We're good? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. So nitma basar v'chelav kayim. Right? If the basar is tamei and the chelav is still around. Right? And meaning it didn't become tamei. So, and you got to burn it. So ein zarik es hadam, you don't do zrika. Right? Now what about according to Rabbi eliezer, who said that you can, we're mechalik between the blood and the meat. Right? Yeah. So we say no, the korban pesach is meant to be eaten. So if the meat you can't eat anyways, then there's no point in doing this rika, right? So the nitma's basar, this is not talking about where it's nitma for everybody, it's nitma privately. So again, nitma basar v'chelav kayim. If the basar became tamei, so you can't eat it, right? The whole point we said of the korban pesach is to eat it. So it became tamei. But the chelav is kayim, ein zarik zadam, don't do zrika. Nitma ha-chelav, but if it's the opposite happens, nitma ha-chelav ha-basar kayim, the zarik is adam. Right? Because we hold that you could do that. But by other hektish, by other hektish, that's not the case. Even if the basar became tamei and the chelav's kaim, you still zarik the dam. Fine. So zog the Gemara, Amar Rav Gidol Amar Rab, im zorak hutrah. If you did do it, like we just said before, if it's a bidieved, then it is, and then it's hutrah. How can it be? How can your korban pesach be kosher? You didn't eat it because it was tamei. So you say achila loy ma'akfa, big chiddush. Achila of the korban pesach is not me'akiv, right? How could that be? We just said that the whole korban pesach is meant to be eaten, but we're saying eating is not ma'akiv. It says a person is supposed to eat it lefi the way lefi achloi. So we say le mitzvah. That's for a mitzvah, but it's not ma'akiv. La'akiv lois, and they want to ask, and it's not ma'akiv. But Tanya b'michsas, right? It says b'michsas, meaning that you have to be part of a group. Right? The only shechted korban pesach for people that are counted as part of the korban pesach. You would think that if you shech the korban pesach for people that are not part of the chabura, you'd be over on a mitzvah, but it's still kosher. Hakos of Shina alav la'akav is kish eichlin l'menuyim. So the pasuk says no, it's makiv, and we're makish eichlin to menuyim. So therefore, you see that it is makiv. If you're not able to eat the korban pesach, so then it's no good. Ela Rav Domak Rav Nosson. Rav goes like Rav Nosson. The Omar achilas pesachim loy ma'akva. He holds that achilas pesachim is not ma'akiv, right? So Gemara says, "Hey, Rav Nosson, which Rav Nosson is this who holds that eating the korban pesach is not ma'akiv?" Meaning, we're saying that really we paskin that you have to eat the korban pesach, but there's a shita of Rav Nosson who holds that you don't have to eat the korban pesach. I mean, you have to, but if it's not ma'akiv, and if for some reason you couldn't do it, then it's not a problem. So, hey, Rav Nosson, which Rav Nosson is it? Rav Nosson. If it's Rav Nosson, the Tanya, Rav Nosson, how do you know? A very interesting case. How do you know that the entire Klal Yisrael could be part of one korban pesach? That would change the whole situation of Beis Hamikdash, right? If there was one korban pesach, unless maybe it's referencing. Remember we had like a few weeks ago, right? That what was it? How many people did there? 30.
But how would it be? How could you have a kazayas?
It was 30, 50, depending on the cheshbon.
How could everyone have a kazayas?
Oh, how can you have a kazayas, right? Correct. So that's
a pretty big animal. I was
going to discuss, right? How can it be? What?
Pretty big
I
animal.
don't even think in your store they sell such a size animal.
No, we definitely don't.
Right? Well, it could be either the Klal Yisrael was very small, but the Gemara goes with a different mahalach. Right? The Gemara says, how can Klal Yisrael all be yotzi one korban pesach? It says, and they shechted the whole Klal Yisrael shechted it ben arbayim between the evenings. Did the whole kihila shecht at one time? One person shechted. It sounds like from the pasuk that every yid shechted it. How could it be every yid shechted it? One person shechted it. That teaches us that the pasuk is referring to that the whole Klal Yisrael is yotzi one pesach. So you see, now how could that be that everybody in Klal Yisrael is yotzi one pesach? Right? It's not possible. So the Gemara says no. So Dilma shani hasam di'im mashche hani chazi lahani. Since you can't have a kazayas like you're saying, David, right? But if some people can back out, basically what you can do is you can make a rotation. Some people, you have 10 people that join the animal, join on that korban, then 10 more join, and then the original 10 back out. And you do this like on a rotating thing, and that would make it that everybody could potentially be part of it. Right? And then if these people leave, then these people are going to be right. So theoretically, it is possible for all the what do you call it to be part of the. It's theoretically possible Gans Klal Yisrael to be part of this, right? So then Memela, it's not pshat. So it can't be Rav Nosson. It can't be this Rav Nosson because, again, the Havamina was it's Rav Nosson. So you see that again, if Rav Nosson holds that Achil is not ma'akiv, David, right? So then the whole Klal Yisrael could be part of the mezbeach, could be part of the korban pesach.
I mean, if they don't have to eat it, if they don't have to eat it, then
correct.
I guess
so that's what the Gemara thinks, right? So that's what the Gemara's Havamina is. That it must be Rav Nosson, and the whole Klal Yisrael doesn't need to eat it. So then you could be part. But then the Gemara says no, maybe they could potentially eat it because you could have a rotation, people being part of the mezbeach, the korban, and then backing out, and then going back into that. So therefore, maybe they do there is a potential for them to be part of it.
You could serve one chicken and tell everybody to go on it and then go off, go on, go off.
Yeah, let me try that.
How does it help though? Either way, not everyone's eating.
Be a nice way to do it. That's the way it works. And Yisrael Zichar does, right? Take the food in and out. But what do you say?
Even in the case of the Gemara gave to
Did I lose everybody now?
Prove.
Did I lose everybody?
I hear you.
I hear you,
Nope, we hear you.
I hear you.
So it's only Gershon that we're losing? It's only Gershon we're losing?
No, I hear you.
Gershon, you internet working? I don't know. I cut out. You cut out in the middle of your question. Hello.
That was
Okay,
me trying to
whatever.
get back to
Fine.
the halftime.
So, yeah. So now we're back to which R Nosson could it be? Ella R Nosson the Tanya nimnu alav chabura achas. Let's say they counted v'chazru v'nimnu alav chabura acheres, and they went and they put on another chabura. Rishonim sheyesh lehen kazayis. So the first ones had a kazayis. Oichlin, then they eat it. Upeturin milasis pesach sheni, and then they're part of making pesach sheni because they were included. Achroinim she'en lem kazayis, but the second group that doesn't have a kazayis, ein oichlin, they don't eat. V'chayav milasis pesach sheni, and they're chayiv to make pesach sheni. Rav Nosson Oimer, no, elu peturin milasis pesach sheni shekvar nizra kadam. Even though there wasn't enough for a kazayis, but it doesn't make any sense because achil is not ma'akev. And once there was rikas adam, then they're all included in the first korban for the korban pesach from the regular pesach, and they don't have to do korban sheni. So you see that they didn't have to necessarily eat it. So when it says akati dilma shani hasan divim mashri hani chazilu, why don't you say the same teretz? No, maybe the reason why it's possible is because some could back out, and then the other ones could be included. Meaning, and there's a potential that every person could potentially have a kazayis. Meaning, you could have a million people be part of this korban, right? And then 999,000 whatever back out, or they just rotate and they're backing out. So everybody could potentially have a kazayis, and that would be enough. So then the Gemara says, if that's the case, it should say, since the original ones could have potentially backed out. What does this Rika's dam have to do with it? So we see that it has to do with the dam, and as long as everybody was included on that korban, and the dam was already nizrag on the mezbeach, then it's going to be a kosher korban. But they didn't have to necessarily.
So nobody will get a
What are you saying?
kazayis. They'll all get a participation award. They won't get a kazayis.
Correct. They're going to keilu. They're going to get a keilu. They ate it. Yeah, but it's, as long as right.
They get a virtual
kazayis.
They get a virtual kazayis.
It's on Zoom. They do the.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they get a virtual kazayis.
Right? Correct. Right. Yeah. So then the Gemara asks, "My duchki the Rav the Moikim lamastisin lechatchila v'Rav Nosson." Why does Rav have to push himself to say that the Mishna is lechatchila, and it's going to the Rav Nosson who holds you don't need to eat? Nukma k'Rabbanon. Why don't we say it's like the Rabbanon? Vafilu bidieved namiloi, and even bidieved it doesn't work. Right? Why do you have to make it work lechatchila? And according to Rav Nosson, say it's the Rabbanon and even bidieved. So Rav Masnisen Kashisi, he had a kasha from our Mishna. Amai Tani Ein Zarikas Adam. Why does the Mishna say that you don't throw the blood? Listening puzzle. Why don't you just say straight puzzle? Why are you saying don't be Zarik Adam? Just say puzzle. Ein Zarik Lechatchila. What it means is don't throw it lechatchila, but bidieved it's good. But who's going to hold the bidieved it's good if nobody was able to eat it? So you have to come on to Rav Nosson. So then Gemara says, Rav Nosson ish lefi achloi lamali. So what do you do with the pasuk ish lefi achloi? Right, each person has to go according to what he ate. The be'inan gavra the chazi lachila. So it means that the person has to be roi lachila, meaning he can't be tamei. Right? Man tanna lahad the tanna rabbanon. So then the Gemara says, who's the tanna that the rabbanon say shachtu la'oichla? If somebody shechts it for the oichla, for those that are going to eat it, the zarku damai. So here, this is another brilliant person. What he does is he shechts it on behalf of the people that are eating from that korban, and then he zayrik it shaloi la'oichla. So a pesach atzmai kosher. So the pesach itself is kosher. V'adam yotzi b'yidei chavasa, and the person yotzi is chayv. Come on, who's that like? Name it Rav Nosson, he v'loy Rabbanon. So why don't we say that braysos is Rav Nosson and not like the Rabbanon because he's going to be yotzi. So then Gemara says afilu ten Rabbanon ein machshavas oichlin b'zrika. Thinking about oichlin, people eating when you're doing zrika it's not going to make it possible, right? Meaning, if you're going to think that when you're doing the throwing of the blood of the korban pesach on the mezbeach, you're thinking about old people or sick people that can't eat from the korban, that has no meaning onto it. Fine. So then man tanna lo de tanna rabbanan hareisha yechoyle b'shas shchita. Oh, Rabbi Aaron, I was thinking about you with this Gemara. If I tell you, this is mamish. This is how confusing. I mean, a poor kid is learning this Gemara, right? Listen to the taich of these two words here. Man tanna lo de tanna rabbanan. Who's the tanna the rabbanan said hareisha yechoyle b'shas shchita? A person is sick when he's shechting it. When the korban pesach was shechted, he's sick. What's the next word? Well, what does that mean? I would think it's the same word as chayle, right? So I think that's what I thought when I learned it. And he becomes sick when he's b'shas rika. What do you mean? He's sick already from the shchita. So if you look at the taich, chayle means he got better, right? So now we have chayle means sick, and 4 words later, chayle means better. I mean,
healthy, right?
If
Healthy.
the kid is having what? What are you saying?
It means he's healthy, right? He's healthy.
It means it's healthy. I mean, a kid who's struggling with language, and you ask him to learn this Gemara, and you say, by the way, what's a taich of chayla? Sick. 4 words later, what's a taich of chayla? Better. Right? I don't know. It's like stacked against any kid that's not on top of his game. Okay, whatever. But it's interesting, Zach. Yeah. So anyway, so
thank you, Art Scroll. Thank you, Art Scroll.
Yes, 100%. You know what? I see kids looking at Art Scroll. I have no problem. Rashi says cholim means bari. So obviously, Rashi needed to tell you that the cholim here means healthy, right? Because otherwise you would have thought, I don't know what, you'd be going in circles the whole day. But anyways, so somebody who's sick when they shechted the animal, cholim b'shas rika, and they became better when they was rika. Cholim b'shas shchita, or they were healthy when they was shechted, b'cholim b'shas rika, and they were sick b'shas rika. Ain't shechted, mizarkan alav. So then you don't shecht it, and you're not zarkan alav. Actually, you cholim b'shas shchita at shas rika, until it becomes sick from shas shchita until shas rika. So who's that like? Neymar.
Go ahead. Until you're healthy.
I can't hear you so clear.
What are you saying? Until you're healthy.
I'm sorry. What I touch you sick? Did I touch you sick?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I told you I'm a man of my own. I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about. Thank you. Your correction should be an eli for the neshama. Yeah. Anyways, so ain't shaytim zarkan love achiyeh cholam until they get better. B'shas shchita at shas rika, till they're better, till they're healthy from the shas shchita till the shas rika. So come on, name a rabbanon. Let's say it's a rabbanon of R Nosson. All right. Let's say it's a rabbanon not R Nosson, because why do you have to be? You don't have to eat it according to R Nosson. So why do you got to be better? Why do you have to be everybody? Why does everybody have to be healthy? So afilu temer R Nosson gavra techazi lachila beina. Like we said before, you need to make sure that the person is right to eat it. He doesn't have to eat it according to R Nosson, but he has to be right to eat it. So therefore, if he's not healthy, he's not right to eat it. So you can't be part of the korban. And then another braysos. Man tanna lo de tanna rabbanan shachtu b'tayra v'achar kach nitmu habaylim. You shechted the korban pesach b'tayra, and then afterwards the baylim became tamei. So you zorek hadam b'tahara. So then you throw the dam onto the mezbeach b'tahara v'al yochel basa b'tumah, and don't eat the basa b'tumah. Come on, Amud eliezer b'machlokes shnuya. That's a machlokes, right? It's totally in the machlokes, and it's R Nosson. You can even say it's a rabbanon. Bitzibur. It's talking about a tzibur. It's talking about a tzibur where they're going to be makar the tumah, right? Bitzibur ain't a basa nechel b'tumah. So if that's the case, and the whole tzibur's tamei, so why isn't the basa tar? Not tar. The basa is not tar, but why can't you eat it? So eliezer shema yitmu bailam la'achas rika. No, it's a eliezer because maybe the bailam going to become tamei after the blood is already sprinkled on the mezbeach. But yomru, and they're going to say ishtakad lein tamanu ba'achalnu. Last year we didn't become tamei, right? We didn't become tamei after the avodah, and we still ate it. Hashtanami nechol. Now we should also eat it. And they're not going to know they're not going to know that last year when the blood was thrown, when the bailam were already tamei. Hash the bailam tahirin, and here this year the Bailam are tar. Viva is saying, or we'll go to the two dots. Viva is saying, Rav Domak Rabbi Shua, or we consider Rav goes like Rabbi Shua. The Tanya, Rabbi Shua, I mean, Kol zvachim shebeTorah, bein shenit v'basar v'chelev kaim, all korbanos in the Torah. Whether the basar became tamei and the chelev is still around, bein shenit v'chelev v'basar kaim, or the chelev is tamei and the basar is kaim. Zarek is adam. You do zrika the dam. Nazir v'ayse pesach. If a nazir and somebody who makes the pesach, nitma chelev. Ubasar kaim, if the chelev became tamei and the basar kaim, zoyrikas adam, or then not or, but you throw the dam, then that's one case. Nitma basar v'chelev kaim, but if the meat became tamei and the chelev is kaim, ain't zoyrikas adam, you don't throw the dam. The im zarak hutrah, but if you did, then the tzitz is merazteh. Nitmu abaylam b'meis, but if the baylam became tamei meis, right, meaning that's the tumah that we're talking about till now is a tumah that you can tumah sheret, so you become tamei that tar that day, right? But if nitmu bailam b'meis, but once they become tamei meis, which means that they're not going to be right to eat the behemoth for the whole Pesach, lo yizrek, don't be zarik, vim zarak, lo yhurtzu. But then in that case, if you did do the zrika, then the tzitz is not merazteh because he's going to be tamei anyways for the whole 7 days. So therefore, he's not roy, right? And the same thing would be with the nazir. Okay, I hope it was shtickle understandable. Should get a little.
Thank you very
easier.
much.
Should
Thank
get a
you.
little.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Everybody enjoy whatever it is that they're going to be doing the rest of the night.
Yaakov, the people like to see the people like to see current events in the Daf. So Kansas City has a Yiddish lineman, and he's taka sick, he's hurt, and it's affecting the team. So like the Daf, yeah.
Yaakov.
Yes.
Tomorrow, for me, the fast starts alois or nights.
Alois.
Stop being a 2-year-old.
What, you're supposed to fast at the yotzi?
What?
You're supposed to fast at the yotzi?
The Iker din is you're supposed to fast at a yotzi. Yes.
So I get off of that? But I get off.
Iker din is you're supposed to fast on a yotzi, but you have to know if you can function like a normal person. If you can't function like a normal person,
on my yotzi first day's Pesach, so I'm off or I switch days?
No, you can't. Then you don't fast. Then you're off.
You're done. Off.
Yeah, what if you never functioned like a normal person ever?
That's a different story. Zev, you fast every year?
Yeah.
I hear. So it starts by Alois. Listen, the truth be told, if you makabel the time, if you makabel on yourself, if you makabel it later, maybe I'm saying it's a yotzi fest. Really, the way you makabel it can really. Really, the way it should be is Alois is not so.
In Eretz Yisrael, it's a little drop shorter. In Eretz Yisrael, whatever. In Eretz Yisrael, shorter.
Right. Is this the first year you're not going to Eretz Yisrael?
Last year, the Corona.
Last year was already?
A week before Purim, a week or two before Purim, they were closing the borders in Eretz Yisrael.
Talking to someone that went to Purim last year in Pesach. Last year Purim.
That's true. Yeah,
what's going to be this year in Purim?
Who knows? Yeah. I hear. Okay, then the Shabbos Oven Aliyah. That's what
he left. Zevi left.
All right, everybody. Okay.
Have a good night. Mazel tov. Have a safe trip back.
Okay, Zagazon, everybody. Have a good one.